Back.
Mr. Chairman.
Who seeks? You want my time or your own time?
Oh, no. Sorry. Go ahead.
I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. And just to answer the gentleman from California's technical question about the definitions of the bill, it applies to all of them. No matter what your status is here, green card holder, under some asylum status, if you commit any assault on a law enforcement official or a crime against a law enforcement official, such as a battery, an aggravated assault, such as the ranking member described, all of those categories would be subject to the provisions of the bill. Yeah. Yeah, just didn't want you to be confused as to the operative effect of the bill. For what purpose does the gentleman from Wisconsin seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I move to strike the last word.
The gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I rise to support this ANS from the gentleman from California. This bill could not be more timely than this week here in the United States of America as the invasion gets to full tilt here on our southern border. We're all hearing about it. Even those people that the mainstream media seeks to cover up stories and suppress them from half of the American people, even they are seeing this story play out on our southern border where tens of thousands of people are prepared to come into our country illegally, where we're hearing from Border Patrol agents that are saying, we have miles and miles of the border that cannot be protected this week because of the invasion that's happening in our country. So we just saw word in the last couple days that agents of the federal government, some of the leadership that is supposed to be securing our border is saying, we're just going to let very low-level criminals through as Border Patrol can no longer handle the crush of humanity that's coming across our southern border. They said the people that we're letting through are just going to be very low-level criminals, kind of like little assaults that we're hearing about. As my colleagues said, none of this should be tolerated. The CBO just scored the number of people that are coming into America illegally, and just on parole alone, in the bill that we are hopefully going to pass this week that came out of the Judiciary Committee a couple weeks ago to secure our border, one of the provisions in there was to get control of immigration parole, where over 1 million people have been brought into our country illegally via something called parole. CBO now scores it as if we continue at the pace we're on, over the next decade, 4 million people will come in via parole. 4 million people. And that's just a small part of how our border is not secured. The numbers are staggering. Border security has been a sham since January 20th of 2021, when the pipeline to prosperity was closed and the pipeline to Panama was opened. It's a sham, it always has been. And now we hear an administration that is giving lip service. They're saying, we're going to send 1,500 troops to the border. What authority do they have? They have virtually no authority to be able to get control of the crush of humanity. It is all window dressing to you folks across America. Purely window dressing. We've seen a few stories where there's been greater interdictions in regards to drugs. It's all window dressing, ladies and gentlemen. They're not serious about doing this, and you're going to see how serious they are this week as they allow all these people to come into America illegally. This bill could not be more timely than today. I would hope all of us would vote for this bill to get control of what is happening on our southern border. The record number of terrorists that have come across our border in just 2 years. The human trafficking that's going on a scale like we've perhaps never seen before in the history of this world. I mean, human trafficking that is, our government is complicit in at this point. Your government is complicit in it at this point, as they allow this to happen, working hand in hand with organizations that from the United Nations, with the cartels. This week, with bills like this and the Secure the Border bill, we're going to find out whether people stand with Americans and whether they stand for the rule of law. I yield back. I yield to the gentleman from Arizona.
Thank you. I want to echo the words of my friend from Wisconsin. I just want to talk about continuing what's going on in Yuma today. So, on my phone, videos of individuals coming across the Morelos Dam, and I've taken many of you down to see the Morelos Dam. Morelos Dam that actually had a gap that had been closed by the governor of Arizona, which was torn down by the governor of Arizona, but promised 15 months ago by Secretary Mayorkas he'd close the gap. He didn't. Yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. Yields back. The gentlelady from Washington is recognized.